Even though I know I should be a pop, teach the kids how to live in a positive manner. Kill pigs with a skull and bones, skip a dagger. I climb Jacob's ladder. I am from the hereafter. This is just my shadow, an eternal dark reflection of all. That everything, anything you can imagine, it's already been done. Evolution until the supreme. Just stardust, if you know what I mean. Trust in self, the self, self-conscious. We all will go alone with a
He's the tiny black bat of Morning Talk Radio. It's your one and only 100% vegan host, Adam Josh. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Let's get these cameras in the right area here. I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna put that there. How's everybody doing? All right. Kind of cramped in here, but we can do it. Just gonna put some cream in my coffee, and that was not a blooper on number 32. I got up and this chair turned around and knocked my coffee over. We were talking about the voodoo of numbers, of number 32 and 33. And then my coffee spilled all over the desk here. So that was kind of a pain in the nuts because I had to clean it up. But welcome to the Morning Banana Show, number 33. My name is Adam. These are two semi-ripe bananas, organic, and this is a little bit more ripe-ish. So, I mean, how do you like your bananas? Do you like them green? Some people do, you know. Some people like their bananas green. Some people like them ripe and brown. So I'm just gonna make sure that we're streaming live and that everything is up and operational. If you bear with me 1 second. It is the morning. And this is my first coffee. I had a dream last night that one of my friends got in a car accident, so I am going to contact him shortly. And I'm just going to make sure that our live links are up on Twitter, which is my main social media platform, although I do use YouTube a bit. If you just bear with me 1 second, I'm just going to send one Twitter tweet. So how was your night? Did you guys sleep okay? All right. So I have posted the tweet. We're listening to Apocalypse, and I guess the song is Wake the F Up. So, I mean, if you don't get the gist of that song, I can't help you. It is to wake up. So, yes. Here we are, and I thank you again for your patience. And I'm back. Skimming the headlines real quick. Biden issued his apology about the groping on people. You know, going forward, I will give people their space. Facebook is demanding people's email passwords. Now Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin left their poop on the moon, and we have to go get it, I guess. So they will literally give you poop, and you'll be like, wow, it's Neil Armstrong's poop. This is what $58 million a day is getting you. So kind of funny. And now there's a story here about Neil Young and Buzz Aldrin were tricked into planting the British flag on the moon. Can you even keep up with all the lies? I mean, for $58 million a day, you would expect some high quality lies coming out of NASA, right? I mean, this is your daily reminder that another $58 million has gone to NASA. But our scheduled guest for today is the one and only Bookish Neptune on Twitter, at Bookish Neptune. If you are on Twitter, I recommend that you follow him. So when I first got into researching Flat Earth, I came across some people that I've already mentioned. I came across Paul Michael Bales and Math Powerland roughly around the same time, but then I did some back research, and it's my estimation that if it was a contest of who was flat first, I think Paul Michael Bales would win. He's, time-stamped with older flat Earth content than that I could see that Math Powerland has. I would love to have Paul Michael Bales on the show to talk about that. I'm trying to get him on, but it's always communications issues. Right now I have to pin him down to a time. So the first few people that I discovered were Paul Michael Bales, Math Powerland. And there was like 3 other people. Civilian X on Twitter is one of them. And I eventually stumbled upon Eric Dubay, but none of his stuff ever sat right with me. And I think those were the first handful. Yeah, oh yeah, and Daryl Marble. Stay tuned tomorrow. Daryl Marble is scheduled to be on the show tomorrow. So that'll be fun. I'll be here around the same time, and we'll do a morning banana with Daryl Marble. So Civilian X, he likes to have his anonymity. Wow. Anonymity online. And so, I mean, what can you say about a guy who wants to be anonymous online other than I've chatted with him on the phone, and he's somebody that I would like to hang out with, maybe go sport shooting. I think that would be fun. And yeah, seems like a cool guy. So I've never met Math Powerland in person. I've never met Katie, his wife, in person. I've never met Paul Michael Bales in person. I've never met Daryl Marble in person. I've never met Civilian X in person. And I was saying to Civilian X last night when we talked on the phone that for somebody like myself who is a business manager, I have 3 Rust Check appointments today coming up, which is one of the reasons I'm a little bit early. I temper it all with, am I making money out of this stuff? This is my free time right now, so I look at this as an investment, And up until now, I haven't made any money from Flat Earth, so I feel like temper all your efforts with your side hobbies and interests with, are you going to make some money out of it? Because I'll tell you, truthfully, I went way off the deep end years ago. With video editing, I used to spend hours and hours video editing. I've done a lot of stuff for free for people in the music industry that I'll never get paid for, and that I really regret doing for free. Drum tracks, shuttling people around. I had one show producer, ask me for a vehicle to give somebody who was in town. I was a roadie for a few bands. You name it. And I've done a lot for free, and I've done a lot where I've made money. And at the end of the day, some of the best advice I've ever had is, it's sad to look at it like this, but are you making money out of it? Because somebody's making money out of it. And especially in the entertainment business and the music business, and now this Flat Earth has an economy, so somebody's making money out of it. So maybe some people like me because they know, oh, this guy, he's doing all this for free. Maybe they like that. Saying all that, I do have a donate button on my website, so I put the link in the YouTube video today. To date, YouTube today YouTube has never paid me a dime. I'm not partnered with YouTube. Today, as far as donations go, I think maybe in total I've got $100 in total since I made a PayPal account. Saying all that, and I apologize if I'm a little bit rusty, I'm a little sick, coming over a cough. I'm going to give Mr. Civilian X a call, and what I'm hoping is that we could get a little chat going about what is all this nonsense about 33. I mean, people die at 33. This Nipsey Hussle rapper just died at 33. 33's 33 is some big deal in Freemasonry. I'll get it right. Maybe Civilian X can explain the magic of 33 better than I can. Without further ado.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Civilian X. How are you doing? And thank you for being on the Morning Banana Show.
Speakerphone.
Pardon me?
Oh, I couldn't hear you. I just turned it on speakerphone. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, welcome to the Morning Banana Show, the mysterious and elusive number 33.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. I've been up for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, grab a coffee, and I had a bad dream, and it kind of woke me up, and then I woke up coughing, so it's 8:15 here. I have a customer apparently coming at 9 a.m. for his rust check on a new Chevy Colorado, a brand new Chevy Colorado, so that's why I'm at the shop a little bit early. Got everything ready. Of course, we have vehicles in the shop, compressors to turn on, lights to turn on. I don't need to tell you, you know what it's like when you have a shop. So everything's ready to go. I've been here since about 7:30.
Yeah, it's raining today where I'm at, so I'm taking off today. So.
Awesome. So off the top of your head, if you don't mind, what is so mystical and magical about this 33 number?
Wow, off the top of my head. Well, put me on the spot with that one.
I did.
You know, I'm not one of the evil bastards in this world, so I have no idea about that.
I feel like I don't know if you've ever studied about the calendar, but when I was in Bible college, I studied a little bit about the calendar, and that the Roman Catholic calendar, that what we all use here, the common Gregorian calendar, originally when they designed it, it had 10 months, and it was January and February were added, which is why September is not the 7th month, Octo 8 in Latin is not the 8th month, and Nova 9 is not the 11th, is not the 9th month, and Deca, which would be 10 in Latin, is not the 10th month. So they got all screwed up. The seasons kept coming later and later in the year, so they added January and February. So if you look at the Gregorian calendar and you look at the days of the week, like Monday, obviously in French it's Lunde, named after the moon. Tuesday, all the names of the week and the months that we're in are all basically offered as a tribute to pagan gods and Greek and Latin gods. And so we live in this dragnet system of a calendar that we were born into. And I didn't design the calendar, you didn't design the calendar, but at the same time that you and I didn't design it and were born into it, people live and die by this calendar. And I feel like my studies of, my brief studies of Freemasonry and numerology and gematria, it's kind of almost in the same, where we have this artificial construct system overlaid over reality, and then people give it power and energy. Certain groups give it power and energy by doing these rituals and doing these events on their certain days that to the uninitiated don't really make any sense. And to people like me and you who maybe just would rather not live in or under a Roman Catholic calendar, it doesn't really matter that much. But to them, it does matter, and that's what's important, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The thing is that, we see it, we know it. Can we absolutely understand it and say exactly what do they mean by it? I don't think we can, just our normal us. I know there's a lot of people who really do a lot of research into gematria, and they try to put the numbers together basically every single day. Man, I'll just have to say, what a waste of time, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not important to mention it or call it out, but I think it's a waste of time, and it's a huge rabbit hole to be constantly trying to figure out the numbers.
Think about Tony Podesta, or sorry, John Podesta, with his holding up his hands, and he's got like a fish on one side and a 13 on the other. And for him, that means some great big thing, and he's giving a nod and a wink to his occult buddies. And they may offer, they may literally sacrifice children or whatever to these rituals, but at the same time, somebody who's not initiated, it's like, wow, look at you with all your power. Does that make you feel powerful? I don't get it,
Well, and I just want to give my opinion on a lot of what I see that's going on is mocking God. That's my personal opinion. We see it everywhere. And, I know I mentioned the trolls quite a bit, but I think that's important because it really is our adversaries out here. But you'll notice that when trolls get into flat earth discussions, that's the first thing not the first thing, but that's a lot of what they say is that, every flat earther must be a Bible thumping, believer and all of that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Daddy, and all of that. So, but apparently Jesus died at 33. I know people disagree with that. I'm not saying what I believe one way or the other. I'm just simply saying a lot of what we see is, I believe, a mockery of God and or the Bible in general.
Right. That's like competition. I talk about this when I talk about politics with people, that you can say that it's all a charade, but that doesn't mean there's not real competition at every level and jostling for power, which could be, life-threatening for people who are in that.
Sure, and I think we give a lot of, I'll say this, I think we or as truthers or as everybody out here, particularly the sheep though, they give a lot of credit to this human flesh that we see. So you see these celebrities, for instance, let's talk about Biden for a minute, right?
Yes.
Biden is all on the news suddenly for groping women when we have clearly seen him groping children and not a single mention. The mockery, what that Biden stuff is, that's a mockery that's going on right now. I guarantee he's probably never even groped a grown woman.
Man, that's funny. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's all a mockery in our face, and every news story's coded with the 33.
Yes.
And I think you just mentioned it about these celebrities dying at 33. So it's an obvious code. What does it all mean? I have no clue. Do these celebrities even die? I don't know either.
Yeah. At one point when I first started getting into flat Earth, I heard some female flat earthers mention that, no, these celebrities aren't dying. They're going and living beyond Antarctica.
Sure, of course that's that theory. I mean, I am a believer that there is some type of hidden land. That hidden land and hidden worlds could even be under in the oceans. Who knows, right? We simply don't have a clue. It is fun to hypothesize sometimes, but in the end, we're all going to find out when we die. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So, before I became a flat earther, I can tell you, I used to sit and wonder. I wondered constantly, what's out there? What's out there? What's out there? Now I don't have that burden.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to meditate every day, and one of the meditations, well, I still do meditate every day, but what got me into flat earth was really meditating every day and thinking in my mind's eye how far I could get away from earth and meditation as a kind of stress relief meditation. Some people meditate to calm down, control their breathing. For me, I was dealing with a lot, and always am kind of dealing with a lot of personal stuff going on, as some people know. But one thing I would like to do is have a moment of peace. So I found years ago one thing that would help me would be to imagine myself getting further and further away from Earth. So at first, in my mind's eye, I would say, well, I'm meditating and I'm on the International Space Station, and then I would watch all these space station videos and imagine that I was there on the space station, and then it was the moon, and I would picture myself on the moon walking around like, that's one small step for Adam, and then I pictured that I was living on Mars, and the further and further I got, the less and less it made sense. And at the same time, like I said, I was watching a few videos online, and I saw a couple personalities that we're all familiar with now talking about flat Earth, which kind of confirmed my instincts. At the same time, I remember seeing artist renderings everywhere, and man, they just shove it in your face with the artist renderings, but nobody realizes it until one day you look down and you're like, holy crap, this is all artist renderings, images.
Yeah, I think that if you really got into conversations with more people, you would definitely see that you would find that their intimate fantasies have a lot to do with space.
Yeah.
I think the majority of the sheep would love to go to space. Matter of fact, you can scroll social media and you'll see that a lot of people just want off this earth. Just take me off this earth.
Yeah.
And I was the same way. When I was younger,
Same.
I'd say maybe around 12 when I started thinking this, I would say to myself, yeah, put me on a rocket and just shoot me into space until I die.
Yeah.
That was my thought pattern.
Yeah.
And that is the fantasy that they feed us. And, of course, if you listen to Bill Nye, he told everybody, you can't leave Earth.
Yeah, I saw that clip. They always do these weird 180s where they're like 100 steps forward and then like one gigantic leap backwards like that. Like, what you're trying to advance an agenda, then what is that? Is the truth just bleed out of him or something? It's very bizarre how he would even leak that out.
Well, that's scripted, obviously. That's scripted, and that's just their little jokes they're throwing in there. If people will say stuff like that, we take it out of context. Yes, absolutely. There is some things that are taken out of context, but at the same time, that could be a hidden joke. But that statement, Bill Nye, no, he wasn't talking about anything. The most someone can possibly say is that he meant we can't leave Earth behind in our back of our heads and forget about it. No,
Yeah.
that ain't even close, because he expounded upon that. He just didn't say that. I mean, he said, I want everybody to know this. So, yeah, it's stuff like that where they're just simply throwing it in your face. Now, for instance, those people, same way. If they could leave Earth, they would leave Earth, okay? But they can't. And I'll take it one step further. I believe there's some people in this world, if they could destroy the entire Earth, they would do it.
I think about Operation Fistful when they're detonating nukes in the sky. That's crazy.
Yeah, sure. Of course, I don't believe nukes are real, but I believe some type of very large bombs are real.
Yeah, they're detonating something in the sky.
And who knows? Who knows even how long they've been at this? I have theorized that World War II was a complete distraction so that they could search Antarctica or the so-called ice wall or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah, that would be a good distraction. Hey, guys, go to World War while we are here exploring. Yeah. Keep everybody occupied while we're out exploring beyond the poles.
Yeah, and I don't mean to get on a war topic, but population control, literal population control. You're taking the strongest men, the alpha males, and sending them straight to death.
Yeah.
It's much deeper than people probably can imagine.
When I was driving in today, I can't help but notice that there's just constant chemtrails. Like, there's always constant chemtrails for the last, I would say 10 years. But, some days it's good, some days it's bad, some days it's too windy that they don't put anything down. But I noticed that my cough kind of came after 3 or 4 days of intense, ridiculous chemtrails in the sky. And then our 2 kids and Desiree wound up getting the same cough that I have. I was actually not the first one to get it. Our oldest son got it first, and then he gave it to the younger one. Now I have it. But I was thinking on the way in, looking at these chemtrails this morning, that maybe I wonder how many times we've done this. You know, is this just a reset that happens every time? Like they obviously, you talk about the number 33 and inversions of reality. It's like they say on one hand, when we were growing up, that CFCs and aerosols would cause the greenhouse effect. So gases in the upper atmosphere would trap heat below and warm up the earth. And we all knew that growing up. We have to throw out our hairspray and whatnot. You flash forward like 30 years, and now it's the polar opposite, complete inversion, that we're going to spray particulate in the sky to cool the earth. Well, they full well know the science that was back in the 90s didn't get thrown out. They full well know that they're going to wind up warming the earth, but they can say at the same time, no, 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 we're trying to cool it by injecting this stuff into the upper atmosphere. And then what winds up happening is, well, you're going to have more Arctic ice shelf melting and more polar ice caps melting and flood the whole earth. And I can't help but think, like, wow, we have floods throughout history, mud floods. We have, Noah's flood throughout history. And is this, are we just on a reset cycle that like every, few thousand years, we just have a reset and then start again? And there's some elites sitting up in a bunker or deep below earth in a bunker laughing about it. I mean, I think about this stuff and I think like, how technologically suppressed are we? And if we knew the reality of where we are, how would it change our lives?
Yeah, wow. I mean, so much, man. Well, okay, so let's look at the I guess the dead asleep, for instance. They will sit and fantasize that they already have time travel and they're hiding time travel from us, okay?
Okay.
And wormholes and stuff like that. Now, someone like me, I actually sit around and I don't believe that so-called they, in quotations, are as advanced as we may give them credit. So I'm somewhere kind of in the middle there because I know that they obviously have more than they show us, but I think the human ability can only go so far. Yeah, so I know you threw a lot out there real quick, but I don't have much insight on what type of technology that they do have. But saying that though, I do see where we're heading. We're heading with virtual reality, augmented reality.
Yeah.
I actually mentioned to you recently about them getting into phase 3 of microdosing LSD.
Yeah.
Prescribing mushrooms to people. So yeah, I think we're getting soon to where maybe a couple of generations, 2 or 3, that literally children and everybody else will not even know what to believe. The entire world will be a fantasy, like a big old coloring book.
Yeah.
I keep saying, my one famous saying is, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, so the other thing, have we been here before too? I don't know. I think it's possible. I do think that's possible. But yeah, what a strange time to be in.
It is.
Everything's fake. And so with the chemtrailing, though, my quick opinion on that would be that that's really what I call killing 8 birds with one stone. It's a multiple of things. It's controlling the weather. It is heating up the earth at times. And then you have these things like hurricanes and, of course, like the fires in California and other places. So it's a mix of playing God as well. That's one of my opinions. So, yeah, what are they doing? I think the seasons. Okay, so there you mentioned the calendar. Let's take away the calendar. If we could live our life for a couple of years without the calendar whatsoever and document the sun and document the seasons and the temperature, I think that's going to probably stay relatively the same. But because we have the Gregorian calendar with that extra day added, that means what I think the math is like every 100 years there's 25 days added to the calendar. So in short, I think that it's either maybe the seasons change on their own and they're trying to keep up with it, because I think right now it would be a lot hotter than it is had they not been blocking out the sun so much, and particularly where I'm at. So I know that even from here all the way to Canada here recently, they've really been going at it, spraying. So, yeah, I think they're making global warming, because they have to continuously use that word and make that a reality, global warming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry to ramble, but that you threw a lot at me. There's a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I think both of us have that problem of that we could just talk about subjects like this that we're passionate about forever. But with me, it's like you talk to the average sheep and they just kind of gloss over with that fluoride stare. But for me, I started studying this stuff when I was in Bible college, which was, for me, that was 16 years ago. So I have like 16 years of just studying random things to talk about with people, but mostly I wind up talking to a camera.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, you have to have knowledge to even have an opinion.
Yeah.
So not even debating, but just to have a conversation, you have to have knowledge. And then obviously you have to have experience. And no disrespect, but there's people that are in the truth community, for instance, who weren't even alive during 9/11. As I said, no disrespect, but they just don't have the history. And some people, for instance, can't see the impact of false flags and things like that because they're not old enough yet, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm wise and old and all that, but
yeah.
So it's a mix. You've got to have the education and you've got to have some kind of experience. And what they've done on the flip side is obviously anybody who is a so-called conspiracy theorist, we all watch Alex Jones and we all sit on YouTube all day, right?
Right.
Because that's immediately to, discredit us that we're all lunatics, we're crazy. But, what I've learned is its approach. Approach is everything, how you try to bring the truth to people. And bar none, when you put someone in front of me, they know, they can see it in my eyes that I firmly believe what I'm saying. And I even tell a lot of people, hey, I'm just giving you the information. Do with it what you want. But I am very passionate about people not wasting their time watching that television.
Yes.
It is an absolute waste of time. It has never gotten anybody anything in life. So that's one of my favorite. I would rather people get away from the television than even spread flat Earth, for instance. Okay, because some people say flat Earth leads you to everything. I believe fake ass television leads you to everything. So,
yeah. Anything else that you'd like to touch on before we wrap this up?
Oh Lord, yeah. I mean, like I said, we can go on for days, man. But no, I appreciate these talks.
Same.
Giving me the time and a voice.
Yeah, well, you're welcome on the Morning Banana Show anytime. I mean, I there's like a handful of people in the truth community that I respect, and you're one of them. And I don't just invite anybody on. And even though it may seem like that, sometimes on Twitter I'll be asking some people to be on the show, but I would like to expand out into getting some vegans on, but still, there's it's not an open invitation to everybody, that's for sure. So you're one of a select few.
Well, I'm obviously vegan, but I don't really push that. I don't talk about it much. I feel like, hey, people can eat what they want to eat. It's a personal choice for me,
Yeah.
And I forgot too. I just did want to say something real quick.
Sure.
With the numbers in the 33 and all of this, everybody is basically calling everybody a shill.
Yes, everybody's a shill.
Who they say they are, and I've had it come my way as well, obviously, but yeah, you have an open invitation, and I've extended it to other people as well. But yeah, if anybody wants to know if I'm real or not, yeah, I'll let you come visit me, and you're going to see exactly how boring I am. And you're going to wish you had.
Everybody that I don't like is a shill, is the bottom line.
Yeah, and I know, we're all guilty of it. That's the thing, is we're all guilty of it. I think some of it's quite obvious. Other people aren't as quite obvious.
Yeah.
The difference between being a shill and a sellout, for instance. Some people are just in it for the money. That doesn't necessarily make them a shill.
Where's the money? Show me the money. All right, Mr. Civilian X, thank you so much.
Yeah, I've never earned a dime either from any true thing. So let me just say that for the record.
So follow Civilian X on Twitter at Bookish Neptune. Do you have any other websites or anything else that you'd like to share?
No, just search Civilian X on YouTube.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Have a great day, friend.
All right, thanks, man.
Take care.
Talk to you later.
And there he goes. Thank you so much for watching Morning Banana number 33. I hope it wasn't as spooky as you thought it would be. Take care. I'll see you on number 34 tomorrow. That means Daryl Marble will be in the